So after I did testings on Dran Brave, and after thoroughly insulting it a little bit, I would say, it looks like it summoned X-Cortisu because my mic died the entire recording we did our testing session. A lot of people were kind of looking at Dran Brave and hoping, you know, we get an attacker that could go toe-to-toe with the best. You know, what we got, okay at best, you know, it's fine. What if I told you in the same month of release, we did get an attacker that was actually really, really good? Xeno Xcalibur. Now, Xeno is a release you wouldn't expect to be good because you think, oh, well, it's light, you know, the contact point is small, but with this original combination, so original. Yes, we are running 760 low rush. This is a benchmark combination I like to use for most attack types. It's just an easy to use combination where you have 760 that's good at deflecting. Low rush is pretty good because it's consistent for its movement pattern. I like it. We tried out some other stuff, but it wasn't as consistent, so this is what we're gonna be going with. So if you like Beyblades that spin, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts. And as well, malabays.com. We have a lot of pre-orders up for April and some of the March stuff. We're gonna be restocking probably pretty soon on some of the April stuff, maybe. I'm joined here by MDK Shady, by the way, he helped out with the testings. So in this, we're going to be facing off against Silverwolf 760 Hexa. This is just a benchmark I use for defense. Silverwolf's pretty good at tanking and kind of, you know, stopping a lot of the attacker's momentum. We're going to see if Excalibur can actually do anything. So against Silverwolf right now, it's going to be kind of going a little bit crazy. Silverwolf has just been, I think, really reliable. I could have picked Golem Rock. I think Silverwolf also just does perfectly fine, but Xeno, what you'll notice, its main weakness is obviously just going to be pretty much the same as Dran Buster. Its stamina is not that good. Obviously, with a shape like that, the stamina should not be insanely good, but still, if you already saw, as you can see the impact, it's really explosive. That burst was insane. It is a triangular contact on it, which I thought wouldn't even do anything because of how much it protrudes. I thought it would have to protrude a little bit more to do something, but no. Even in its Warren state, because obviously I've used this a lot, it's still pretty good, I would say. Like, did a very, very good job. I did try to use 160 low flat, and what I found the issue was, it's just already too imbalanced, and 160 is not really, like, I thought in theory it could work, but no. But Silverwolf was the one that struggled with quite a bit, but a lot of the bursts, it makes up for it. It's just Silverwolf, what's really good about it is that it's such an impenetrable kind of blade because it's got like that little plastic ring, and I feel like it kind of disperses a little bit of the hits whenever you're throwing against it. So a lot of times whenever I say, oh, well, against this attacker, this is what happens, it usually eats them up. So with Xeno right now, we were trying to figure out, like, man, it's kind of hard to get the right angle for these things, because for Silverwolf, I tried to kind of, you know, try to block a little bit of those hits, but Hexa sometimes moves crazy, but for the most part, I've been able to kind of decently counter against it for it. Next up, we have Wizard Rod on 960 ball. This is just like a staple combo. So against Wizard Rod 960 ball, this is the craziest shit that happened. Look, watch this, watch this. Last second, completely fucks it up. Look at this. Dude, like, what the fuck was that? Like, a last second it hit, and it again and again and again and again. So generally speaking, I do 360 in the videos just because I think 360 is going to be, I believe it's more common in the Asia region, but it's mostly just for the stamina mirror stuff. It just has better stamina than like the 960 ball builds, but 960 you just use for the burst resistance. That one was a little bit crazy when they both went in the pocket, but Excalibur, I just, like, it extremes it right away. So in this, I was trying to figure out kind of, you know, because Rod's already very circular or whatever, because this is kind of doing, in a way, which is kind of funny to say, I feel like it's almost doing more of a job than I expected Dran Buster to do, but I also think that they are very different in shape. I honestly think if Dran Buster kind of had closer to the Excalibur kind of sword shape, where it's more triangular instead of kind of more ovalish, Dran Buster, it would probably have been like super, super insane, but Buster still works as is. But, you know, in an event, if I had to pick between Dran Buster and Xeno, if it was Xeno on this build, maybe I would consider Xeno over Buster. Also, that look at the rebound. Look at the rebound that Rod just did there. Like, what? listen, sometimes there's luck in Beyblade X. Sometimes there's luck in Beyblade X, but yeah, but for the most part, we pretty much just saw Xcalibur just being showcased here to be very, very strong at actually obliterating Rod right at the start, usually with a quick burst. That contact, once it hits with 760, is like a big boom, and then, you know, Rod goes to sleep. Now we have Aero Pegasus on 160 low flats. Aero Pegasus is super good because as an attacker, it has great stamina, can rebound around, do great hits. Pretty consistent. So you probably heard me mention before, in against other attackers, it's going to be a little bit tricky because of the stamina. So this is why the Aero build is always so good to use, because this Aero build has been an MVP for me for a lot of attack matches. I do have a pretty good launch, but Aero just has so much balance and consistency in the end game that it can really will out a lot of wins. So against a Beyblade like Xcalibur, what's so good about this is that it really tests Excalibur's explosiveness, like, can it kill Aero Pegasus fast enough, or is Aero just going to outlast it? I can't really think of any other attacker I would have probably used for this. Aero is something that I think is just, yeah, it does. I guess I could have maybe done Phoenix Swing or whatever, and that would have been a similar thing, but I like Phoenix Swing on the balance build. But yeah, a lot of the times the thing is Excalibur would get good hits against Aero Pegasus, but what happens is after a bunch of those hits, there's no stamina left. So, and an attack versus an attack matchup against other attackers, okay, that one was crazy. Just like, hit the extra. I don't even know. I think it almost hit me. There are sometimes, I don't know if it was in this session and other ones, but the base would go flying and almost like hit my eye. Almost. I'm good. I already have glasses, so I don't want to get like bay blinded in the eye. That'd be scary. Yeah, but to be honest, if it can contend well against Aero, it deserves a lot of respect. It did okay. Aero still had a decent advantage in points, so ABI, I would always say it's like, it's really, really okay, but you really have to max out your launch. And that might be a deal breaker for using Excalibur, by the way, because you have to really launch hard. So if that's something that's like, I don't really want to keep risking it every single time, you might not even like Excalibur, and I think that's perfectly fine. I typically like a lot of these glass cannons, so it's kind of something that's just to my preference. But I know a lot of players are just like, you know, these things are just too hard to get consistently for me personally. So I don't really want to use it, and I think it's perfectly fine. But kind of now back to the main topic. For Xeno Xcalibur, when you're against a lot of these powerful attackers, the best advice I'm going to be giving is probably just, usually you just say this with anything, but it is true. Xeno, since it doesn't have much stamina, you really got to max out that launch. And for the most part, you should be able to contend with top attackers, but don't expect the end game for it to go well, mostly because it just doesn't have the stamina just to live till the end. So I would say it does fine. You know, for what this is in its design, it's better than expected, mostly because it's explosive for its hits, and that kind of makes up for a lot of it, but, you know, just be wary. Now, lastly, we have what I consider to be most attack-based killer, which is Phoenix Swing. This combo will absolutely slap any attacker. It will downforce smash it, kill it. Let's see what it does. So now we're in the Phoenix section. So in this part, this is literally just, it's 770, which is really going to be good at deflecting at that taller height and the weight pressing down, and against 760, so it's going to be trying to hit up. And a lot of times what happens, the poor little Excalibur, it's probably going to die. This Phoenix combo has been really, really consistent. I do got to try to think about for maybe future stuff, if I want to shake things up, whatever. Just the issue is that I usually just keep it to 4 builds, which is like basically defense, stamina, attack, and balance. Maybe here and there I might sub out stuff, like I thought of Cobalt Dragoon on Elevate, but also I think it's like, I have nothing against that combo, I just, you know what I mean? It's like, like even like, I don't know, maybe I could do like Rod level one time or something, and maybe then after swap like Silverwolf on Free Ball. I just have to consider. I think honestly just the 4 just works, because then after, like I said, just good reference point. But going over to this, I literally kept trying so hard to get this release to get defeated, and it's so tough because Phoenix Wing is literally just like weight pressing against Excalibur, so it's constantly like losing stability very, very easily. Already doesn't have any stamina, and then after it's literally just like a true battle, honestly. That's why I'm always happy just to run attack stuff too, because I'm just very confident in myself when I use it. It doesn't really matter the side. Well, usually, it depends. Sometimes if I get like the what is it, like, so, like, the right side where the X is right there in the stadium. You know, I'll have to double think about it, but I usually manage to kind of, like, launch near where you do that extreme dash when you fall down. So I kind of managed to kind of force an extreme or a KO there. Yeah, but for this Phoenix section, it was pretty much almost blow for blow, but Phoenix had the advantage here due to the fact that since it's very heavy, it's pressing down on the Excalibur, so it should have more of the advantage to destabilize it. Just, you know, it's a game, you know, who hits stronger, the one who's punching down or the one who's punching up? And in this one, like I'll keep on saying, a lot of it is launch power when it comes to this attack stuff. Literally in this case, because otherwise it literally would like stand like 0 chance. I had to really go crazy to almost kill a launcher just to make sure it could have like a good could contend with Phoenix and do okay. So if we just go and compare the stats right now as we get into the final thoughts. Honestly, if you look at Xeno Xcalibur, it's looking a lot more consistent than Dran Brave. Now, keep in mind with CX in context, this is the build that I've tried, but I've also tried many other builds, and I honestly feel that Excalibur is doing a little bit better, to be honest. And obviously CX is still in its early phase, so maybe by the time that this video is launched and many months later, turns out Dran Brave is actually top dog because X, Y, and Z parts come out, whatever, but yeah. To be honest, Dran Brave is just in the title, just like it's a fine release, like it's okay, it's mid at best, but Excalibur is really hype, so I had to think of something interesting to put for the title, so that is the reason. I probably saying it twice now, if I didn't already. But hey, if you're, yeah, like, comment, subscribe, or whatever, that's it. Alright, bye!